Hi, welcome back to my FSY. This is a level 1 focus practice during which we're going to focus on a very important part of the breath, which is the completion of the exhalation. And our reason for doing this is because most of us, when we have a lot of responsibilities and dealing with stress, we're not aware of it, but we typically truncate our breath. We don't finish each cycle fully. And it tends to feed this sense of stress to our systems that eventually makes us feel tired and fatigued and eventually disgruntled. And so the breath is a very powerful tool that the yogis discovered a couple thousand years ago. This practice is actually very powerful and yet very simple. So it's one of the main reasons we love it. You'll need a chair. It'd be recommended to have a blanket or something to support your head. So you're going to lie down, or actually I should say this, set your blanket up away from your chair. When you lie down, the idea is to swing your legs over the back of the chair so that the calves are resting right on the seat. If you don't have a folding chair with the back that's cut out, no big deal. You could always position two chairs together so that one calf was on each seat. And notice how I put this little support underneath the head. That's important because if your chin is lifted up higher than your forehead, your neck is tight, your breath is restricted, and for whatever reason, the mind stays very focused on the future. So you have a really difficult time following your breath and relaxing if your chin is really high like this. So the idea with the blanket is to help the forehead to be just slightly higher than the chin. Obviously, you can adjust the height of your blanket if I wanted to. I could flip it over one more time. In fact, that feels better, like that. Take your hands to the back of your pelvis, and with your hands, tuck the flesh of your buttocks forward toward the chair. Then, having done that, leave your elbows on the ground, but make your forearms perpendicular to the ground. And if you just push the elbows down slightly, you can lift your chest and turn your shoulder blades under. And that will facilitate nice breathing because your chest is open. Finally, close your eyes and rest your hands on the lowest part of your belly. Notice all the adjustments you've made. With your hands tucking your buttock flesh under, your lower back is long. With your elbows turning your shoulder blades under, your chest is broad. Let the head register the support that's being offered to it. And allow the head to completely drop into that support. In the same way, let the calves register the support being offered to them. And feel as though you could offload the weight of your shins onto those plump, broad calves. So, now that I've demonstrated the shape, I'll talk you through it while I sit. But I want you to keep acknowledging and noticing the simple things. The length of your lower back, the openness of your chest, and the ease of your head and your calves. Very easy. Very special thing happens when you just acknowledge that you are, in this moment, supported. That just that could be enough for your system to relax. But even more powerful, perhaps, is the relaxation that happens when you start to observe your exhalations. You notice that with your hands resting on your belly, as you inhale, the hands rise up. And as you exhale, the hands drop down. Observe that for several more cycles. Inhaling, your hands rise up. Exhaling, your hands drop down. Just like waves. They're gentle, easy waves that crest on inhales. And they become troughs on exhales. When you're noticing your breath, be careful not to try to improve it. In other words, don't worry about taking particularly big breaths, and certainly don't force the air out on your exhales. Just follow its natural rhythm and keep focusing your mind by watching the movement of your hands. Rising on inhales, falling on exhales. You might remind yourself as well, in this moment, you've taken a mere 10 minutes to reset yourself. In this moment, there's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, and no one you need to be. So let any tension dissolve from your jaw. Almost like you're removing a social mask that you might wear. Let the tension release from your jaw. Feel as though you discard that mask temporarily. And keep tuning in, especially to the dropping of those hands on exhales. Notice the very bottom of each trough, the trough of the exhale. And notice that no matter how brief, there is a pause. There's a little pause after the exhale has fully emptied. Again, don't try to manufacture that pause by holding the air out. Let the air out. And let it come back in no matter how it needs to be absorbed. Your focus remains on the dropping of your hands on exhales. On the slight pause at the end of each exhale. And of no feeling of strain. There's no strain whatsoever. To inhale. The inhale's easy. The exhale's complete. And there's a pause. Inhale. Exhale. Pause. Keep observing that easy rhythm. And we're not forcing the pause to be any longer than it naturally is. See if you can notice that in that pause, there's a brief gap between thoughts. A brief reprieve in the velocity of your thoughts. And sure enough, they'll come back to you. There'll be some future thought, past thought. There'll be something that will entice your attention. Just keep coming back to the brief reprieve. The little moments of just bare attention, where you're completely present, but not trying to describe that presence in terms of thought to yourself. Inhale. Exhale. Pause. Over and over. You're welcome to continue this practice. Could be that your back muscles are just fully letting go and that your mind is just dropping into a focused place. So by all means, stay and practice on your own. Hope to see you again real soon.